Hello, my name is Julia Freitag and today I'll be presenting you my version of the Johnnie Walker's commercial, The Men Who Walked Around the World. Johnnie Walker is a premium whiskey brand and their mantra and philosophy, "Keep Walking," differentiates the company from its competitors. The advert reflects this mantra and also creates an emotional selling point while conveying the company's heritage and quality values. The advert is also trying to refresh the brand and guide it into the 21st century by targeting new younger customers who like to come across as successful. The company achieves their objectives by taking the customer on an exciting educational tour through the company's past, present and future. Even the way the commercial has been shot in one way conveys the mantra of the company, "Keep Walking." It creates consumer attention as it differs from other commercials and reflects the way the brand is constantly looking forward and cherishing its heritage. It indicates that Johnnie Walker's future will be as bright as its past. And it also encourages the audience to keep walking and achieve something outstanding themselves. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Hey, Freitag, shut it! Now, here's a true story about a young lad named John. Just a local farm boy, but there was something special about the lad. A glint in his eye, a fire in his belly, a spring in his step. And one day he went for a walk. Now, this walk began when his father died. The year was 1819 and the boy was only 14 years old. What, bereavement counselling? Well, these are the days when they sent the boys out into the fields, into the mines, into the mills. Tough times. And John was smart enough to be lucky. Now, his father's farm where he was born and raised was sold, and the proceeds were used to open a grocery. Big responsibility for a wee lad. His own shop in Kilmarnock with his name on the door, John Walker, or Johnny as the world now knows him. Now back then, all grocers stocked a range of local single malts, but the quality could be a wee bit inconsistent. For John, this wasn't good enough. He began blending different malts together as a way of providing his customers with a more consistent, unique product. And this backroom art quickly developed into a commercial proposition, and a very profitable one. And because there's nothing quite like a commercial proposition to stir the Scottish heart, it rapidly grew into an industry that was filled with ambitious entrepreneur distillers. Now, John thrived in this environment, and so too soon would his sons, Robert and Alexander, who joined him on his journey. The Walkers became the biggest name in a rapidly growing industry. They were unstoppable. In one bit of 19th century corporate trading, they bought the famed distillery in Cardew, lock, stock and Cadbury's chocolate barrels, ensuring their supply of this silky single malt and, more importantly, guaranteeing that none of the other big blenders could get their hands on it. But young Alexander wasn't content with being Scotland's biggest blenders. Not ambitious enough for him. No. He went and convinced the ship's captains in Glasgow to act as agents for him and drove the whiskey bearing his father's name across the globe. Now, by 1860, he had developed the square bottle with a label at an angle of precisely 24 degrees. And not a big deal, you might think, but you'd be wrong. The square bottle meant less breakages and more bottles per shipment, and the label meant larger type, and together that meant that Johnnie Walker had an unmistakable presence on any shelf in the world. Now, the bottle became an icon, and the rich liquid it contained sought after and consumed across the globe. Quite a character, Alexander Walker, master of the blender's art, ambitious, uncompromising. Now, it was John's grandsons, George and Alexander II's turn to join him on his journey. They brought the company into the 20th century. They developed the iconic red label and black label, and persuaded Tom Brown, the best young illustrator of the day, to sketch a striding man on a napkin during a business lunch. In the stroke of a pen, the Victorian farm-born grocer had been transformed into an Edwardian dandy. By 1920, Johnnie's Walk had taken him into 120 countries, And he continued to walk through the brand's advertising for the next 50 years, into the fabric of global culture, deep into the dark hearts of several wars, into the pleasure palaces of aristocracy, immortalized by screen legends, celebrated by filmmakers, singers, songwriters, novelists, shoulder to shoulder with the great sportsmen of the age, winning countless international awards for quality, and even being awarded the royal warrant by King George V. So no going back after that. Not that going back would even have occurred to, Johnny or any of his family. By the end of the 20th century, the now familiar red and black label were joined by the green label, the gold label, and the grandest of them all, Johnny Walker Blue Label. By the beginning of the 21st century, Johnny Walker wasn't just the biggest whiskey brand in the world, it was an international symbol of progress. The brand's "Keep Walking" mantra was adopted by parliamentary speechwriters and pro-democracy demonstrators. So what would the Victorian farm boy have thought of all of this? Well, he'd have loved it. A Victorian farm-born grocer he might have been, but he and his family were filled with a fiery ambition and a skill and intelligence to match. So, 200 years later, Johnny's still walking, and he shows no sign of stopping.